All right, bottom line, not dead yet, not murdered yet. The Devils win the Stanley Cup. I want to look at these awards finally. That'll be nice to look at these awards. Again, President's Trophy to the Leafs. Individual awards. Alex Ovechkin, will he retire? He won the Art Ross. Hart Trophy also went to Ovi. Adam Fox wins his third Norris of his career. Lady Bing to Draisaitl. Calder to Jack Drury. Wow. It gave it to Jack Drury over Otto Stenberg. Regardless, we have a Calder winner. And it's 25-year-old Jack Drury. Sure. Dougie Hamilton wins the Conn Smythe. Vezina to Connor Hellebuck. God, I wish we had signed him. Luke Stolstall. John Marino won the Masterton, which just means you absolutely sucked. Although, actually not really, based off of who's been winning that award lately. St. Louis coach won the Jack Adams. Ryan O'Reilly wins his award at this point. Ted Lindsay to Ovechkin. Rocket Richard to Ovechkin. In the AHL, Braden Yeager scored the most points. He was also league MVP, top goal scorer, and top rookie. Well, Nashville, you got a winner there. Best defenseman was Crystal Tang. That's incredibly sad. Top goaltender, Joe Vrbetic. MVP of the playoffs, Mikhail Berdine. So that is Season 5 in the books. To Mr. Richard Head, hello. It's good to see you. And I don't want to imagine that. Let me guess you've created it. So we move on to this next offseason. We will finally get to hire some scouts. 2 of them, in fact. So that'll be nice. Let's look at some of the contracts that we have coming up and see what we'll be dealing with here. So Callie Klang will probably be dropped. I think Scrimes and Goodrow are a good combination to have. We'll probably drop Carey Price if he doesn't retire. Kadri, our goalie, will also have to be signed. Defensively, Josh Brooks' deal is up. We'll be letting him go. He was a tack onto a trade. And then we got some RFAs to deal with. Nothing too crazy. And for forwards, Sam Poulin is an RFA one more time, as are a bunch of the young guys. We'll have to decide what to do with Gino. His overall is plummeted. Yeah, we're going to have some decisions to make here. We're going to have some decisions to make, but that's okay. That is okay. So, nothing to do in the immediate time frame. So, let's move forward. As Seattle will have the number 1 pick, Nashville and Philly both move into the top 3. Seattle also has the 13th pick, thanks to Arizona. So, it should be a good time for Seattle. And here we go now. The retired players. Here's the big question. Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin both retire. We tried to hold on to them until they retired, but ultimately we couldn't. We couldn't keep that core together. Crosby elects to leave. Patrice Bergeron retires. Claude Giroux, Phil Kessel, Joe Pavelski, Voracek, Jeff Carter's gone. So much of our core only lasted about 5 years. TJ Oshie's gone, Jordan Eberle, Jordan Stahl, Zuccarello, Lucic, Adam Henrique, Josh Bailey. Damn. Ovi hasn't retired, that's correct. To make that goal-scoring record even more untouchable. In terms of defenders, dude, everyone's gone. Like, everyone's gone that we started with. Is like, yeah, we want to stick with these guys. And we did win with them. But at the same time, too, again, we wanted to keep them around until the very end. And for a lot of them we did, but not a ton. Yeah. Man. Tang, Yandel, Subban, Tyson Barrie, Alex Martinez is gone. The Jazz hands. And in goal, Marc-Andre Fleury is gone as well, who we nearly brought back. He retires in Nashville. Jonathan Quick, Smith, Markstrom. Again, how fun would it be for us to have a Hall of Fame in this to see just how many future Hockey Hall of Famers would be from this retirement class as it is. Carey Price didn't retire as well, you're right. Mike Smith finally retires. Pavelski and Giroux become coaches. And that's it. So no Coach Crosby, no Coach Malkin, no Coach Letang, no Coach Fleury. That's a shame. So to the draft we go. Nashville wants to trade the 2nd overall pick. And that immediately has me interested. Philly also wants to trade the 3rd, which immediately again has me interested. We are allowed to trade up in the draft once. So one of these 2 picks would be incredibly helpful, and I plan on using Travis Sanheim to get it. Nashville doesn't so much need the help on defense, unfortunately. I mean, you can make an argument for one of them, but Fabro, Samuelson, Ekholm, all of their contracts are coming due. Philadelphia, do they need the help? Yes. Philly is honestly desperately missing Travis Sanheim. So I'm not against sending Sanheim back to Philadelphia in exchange for a 3rd overall pick. I'm not against that at all. And this would be our 1 trade-up move of this draft, which would leave us with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draft picks, which is perfect. We don't have a 2nd or a 3rd this year. We do still have our own 1st. So basically, I would have to make the decision on who else I wanted to potentially get rid of. I don't have to package them in this deal, but it's worth considering. I think we'd have to make separate deals. Again, the draft counts as its own little thing in terms of the amount of moves I'm allowed to make. Because we'd also have to probably look at moving Tkachuk. Will this go through? If it's 1 for 1, I'm good with that. I just don't think Sanheim's the right fit on this team. Although we could pick up a dude by the name of Fowler. Ken Fowler. How close is this? That's rejected. What if I add Callie Klang? Because I'm not really too worried about losing him. What if we also add in... I don't want to add in Tkachuk. I don't think Philip Hollander will ever make this team. But if I also add in SDA, I feel like we'd have too many goalies. What about just SDA? All right, Sanheim and SDA is close. We can also add in... let's go for this guy, Carlson, who's not even signed. Is that enough? Done deal. We send Travis Sanheim back to Philadelphia for the 3rd overall pick. As Seattle with the number 1 pick takes Licht, a medium elite 83 overall sniper. The German presumably goes number 1. Nashville at number 2 takes Ranford, which will leave us with who? Saw the video on 2K Kirk Game. Hey, shout out to Doo-Doo. Appreciate it, bud. Good to see you. All right, so out of the top 5, we're going to be picking up a forward, which I don't hate. It is either Bryant Parks out of US West. Well, again, we have no info on, but look pretty good. And then you have the 2 Canadians. Uriel Sweeney in the OHL and Avery Addison in the W. No doubt Addison's point total is nice. It's either Parks or Addison. I think it's got to be. It is either Parks or Addison. They're both 18. Parks is a little bit more undersized. But man, the fact that Avery Addison put up 40 goals, 71 assists in the W is not bad at all. Again, we have no other information until we hire these 2 scouts very, very soon. The Western League. Parks or Addison? I think Parks was projected to go 2nd, though. And a team skipped out on him. Which in real life would make you think, oh shit, maybe he's not so good. But in this game, you know what? The AI is often dumb. I think we got to go for Parks. I think we have to go for Parks. We're going for Bryant Parks. All right. And the next guy is going to be unbelievable. Sweeney is only a 79. Addison's a 78. It's not the worst case scenario, but at the same time, holy shit, has our draft luck been terrible. He has X factors at least. That helps. It's just he's further away from being NHL ready than you'd suspect. He is pretty well rounded. He does have tape to tape, third eye, spin around. Okay, so he's unbelievable then. The overall is lower than you want to see from a third overall pick, but we do need a dominant right-hand playmaker, and he is just that, so it's perhaps not as bad as it would appear, especially when the other two, nobody else has an X factor. Really. Nobody else has abilities that we know of. Addison's not, Addison's attributes are much better. But, you know, maybe it worked out. But obviously the initial reaction of seeing a 74 at third overall was justified. We do pick up Parks. I think we'll be okay. Eli, we made it to the second round and then got dumped by the Devils. So, really quickly, I am still very much considering trading Matthew Tkachuk. I don't mind Lalim. In the words of Richard Head, I don't mind Wang. However, not the best overall to age ratio there. Howden, Stenlund, Boston, no. Lindholm, no. Lindell, no. D'Angelo, no. We could bring back John Marino. Masterton winner. Good point total. Career high point total, but oof. I don't know if we want to bring back John Marino at this point. Reed's not looking that bad. Sullivan's not looking that bad. Reed can play on the wing. Colborne's not that bad. There are some decent prospects here and there. However, if we're going to trade someone like Tkachuk, we need him to be unbelievable. This Florida takes a guy named Bannister who wasn't that good. So Lindell's still the biggest overall jump you've seen. Probably, yeah. He jumped like 10 overall points in one season. Dvorak and Gudis. Maybe we give Tkachuk one more chance, because aside from him, it'd be taking on more prospects and still having just more of a logjam than we already do. And I don't think that's worth it. Banachad's out there, Trouba. Yeah, I guess for now we'll be holding on to Tkachuk. There's really not anybody out there where I'm like, yes, this has to be the player, the prospect that we pick up. And I'd rather hold on to Tkachuk now than trade him for a future option. So yeah, we'll stay with him then. So let's go ahead and sim to our next pick. Pretty much all of our picks are already in place. Just pick number 22. Just a look from there. Quality in this draft might be down a little bit. Medium elite to Calgary is a 63. A little bit worried about this pick. So we have the Belgian, Vince Booz. Decent point total for Switzerland. Justin Nelson out of the Guelph Storm. Big boy center. A goalie in the first round, Philip Heatley. Tough to pass up a goalie in the first round. Sylvain Potvin, big defenseman out of the Q. Brady Thompson. Raymond Newberry for Sarnia. And then Tommy Toivonen, the only ones we're allowed to look at. Rich, just the bastion of comedy that he is. We got to go for Philip Heatley. If there's a goalie in the first round, you take him. That's pretty much a telltale sign. Philip Heatley How good are you? So we get a medium elite goalie in the fold. He's only a 58. X Factor? Hey, let's go. All right. He has tip jar, no timer, X-ray, contortionist dialed in. So we got 2 X Factor players. They're going to take a while to develop. But we already have 1 X Factor goalie, and we just picked up another. Not bad. Not bad at all. We go all the way to the mythical land of the 4th round after that. Because we traded our 2nd and 3rd. So 58 overall can have X Factor, but Josh Archibald can't. Josh Archibald has an X Factor. It's not a helpful X Factor. It's one of those, one of the ones you don't exactly envy. How long until the no X Factor challenge? With the way I've set this, game up with the custom rosters, yeah, it's probably something we'll have to do this year. Oh man, no crazy steals towards the end of the 2nd. What about in the 3rd? Do you have any crazy steals in terms of potential? Anybody? Medium elite Latin dress for Buffalo. No X Factors though. Aside from that, not too bad. Pretty much what you'd suspect. All right, cool. So 4th round, who do we have here then? We have Jamison Winther. 45 points in the USA. Reggie Reinprecht. Not too bad in the W. Lefty Jamie Barry. Big boy overager though. 2 goalies. I doubt we're going to take either. We don't really need another goalie. You got Mathers. Todd Mathers. Can play both sides. Potter. I think we got to go for Don't Call Me Marshall here. The fact he can play both sides. I think we got to go for him just because he can play both sides. So Todd, come on down. Trash. Trash, unfortunately. Our 2nd pick of the 4th round, we have Pierre Desrochers. 45 points. We got Sergei Zhamnov, not that good. Adrian Lees, not that good. Radoslav Ivanins, who can play both sides. More penalty minutes than games played. Bonikarovsky, Yulkinen, and Barry Kalanos. Again, we need dual position players. They're way too valuable for us, so we will go for Ivanins here. Again, thank God, next year will be the year we finally get some draft info. Bottom 6 grinder. He might develop. It's not completely awful. 5th round. Oh, God. Holden Lutz. So close to a legendary name. Igor Medvanov. Not looking too good. Calvin McKee. Dual position defender. Magnus Peterson. Keaton Leach. Not that good. Matthias Krejci. And a goalie and Cesar Dag. It's got to be McKee. We already have a left D. We need to take our right D requirement. So it will be McKee. With Swift Current, he is very meh. 6th round. I need a left wing, and we have our free pick. There is a buyer. Tom Byer. May he be the guy. There's also Len Parsons. Stevenin. Smirnoff. Man gone. Clifford. The big red man gone. 19 years old, but a good point total. Kurt Colborne and a goalie and Zekov. Wow. We need a left wing. I'm not really interested in a ton of them. It's either Byer for the name or the man gone. Honestly, I'm leaning towards Byer just because this guy's an overager. And I mean, you know, just to compare the points, I mean, a lot of penalty minutes too, but I mean, 55 points there to 39 for Byer, but he's 2 years younger. We'll take Big Cliff. We'll take Big Cliff. 59, medium, top 9. That's not ideal. Buyer was trash, though, so it was better. We made the right choice. That means we need to take a left wing here no matter what. So our choices, there are 3. It is either Maxime Dash, who had 28 points. Timo, hello again. We lost in the second round to the Devils. So, we've been better. Danielson's an overager, or we take the dual position player, Marco Kultanen. We'll go for Darsh. The Halifax Mooseheads. '56 overall, low elite, at 18 years old. Welcome aboard, Mr. Darsh. All right. How many games did they go to? We lost him 5. The Devils kicked the ever-loving hell out of us. Dev was in chat, too, to mock me. There was actually a couple of low elites in this 7th round. Wow, it's 4 low elites. Looks like the Panthers got the best of the bunch. Had the challenges go. We finally do have 2 scouts that'll be able to help us out for the next draft. So overall, you know, not that bad. We got an X-Factor right wing in Parks, an X-Factor goalie in Heatley, and a low elite in Darsh. That wasn't that bad. That was probably our best draft yet, which is shocking. All right, we do have some coach contracts up. We'll take care of those soon. For now, we focus on the task at hand. Callie Klang, gotta be honest, it never worked. It never worked. What were the challenges to pass? The second liners and Gensel hitting 70 points. He had 81 or 91, was it? But yeah, Gensel destroyed that challenge. So yeah, Callie Klang, despite having butterfly effects, we're going to be dropping him. Wish I could say we were keeping him, but Carey Price, we're going to be dropping. We will qualify Benjamin Goodrow, obviously, and sign Kadri. So goalie-wise, we're looking okay. Defensively, Josh Brook wasn't overly impressive. We're going to drop him. Connor Corcoran had a pretty decent season. He's worth bringing back. Sad this morning to sign Bedard at 18 years of age. He was a 79. I was an 86 at the NHL roster. He had a pretty crazy development here in this one, too. Seattle signed him at, at 18. I think he was like an 81, 82. And then, yeah, he was about an 86 by the end of the season. So, definitely worth signing outright. Ben Roger, he's only 23. Didn't have the best season in the world, but we'll keep him. Emil Viro, we can hold on to for one more year. Willsby, though, we're going to drop. We're going to drop Adam Willsby. He just never really made it. I like Luke Prokop. I think I'm going to drop him for now. Actually, man, I need guys who can play the right. We'll keep Prokop. Lang Lewis. I know it's Langlois, but still. You know, we'll hold on to him. He was a tack-on in the trade, but he's actually not that bad. We'll keep Isaac Beliveau. Ryan McCleary, to be honest, I'm just intrigued to see what his max OVR will be. And then there's Henry Marr, who is trash. That we'll go ahead and drop. There's also Hugo Belmar, who is also trash, that we will elect not to sign. So that is the defensive situation, very much a work in progress. On the right, Isaac Rosen needs that qualifying offer. And then there is Javon Stone, who just isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. On the left, holy RFAs. Sam Poulin, Svechkov will qualify both of you. Fortier was really good in a short time last year, barely got to play. Had 1 point in 6 games in the playoffs, so I think we're going to move on from Fortier. Not bad, but is never going to get like that great chance to be a top liner for us. We'll qualify Yarventi and Vasainen. We will still hold on to Ansons as well. And then at center, Svechkovsky. Hirvonen I'll still hold on to because I think I'd prefer to trade him, but he was disappointing this year. And again, this super Finnish dude. Philip Hollander, hate to say it. Leafs were maybe right to get rid of you. We just really couldn't get you to develop, unfortunately. We'll hold on to Johansson. We must sign Mr. Garcia to his ELC, and we're good. So, again, we are going to have all of the cap space in the world. We have 1,000 RFAs, kind of by design when we blew the team up. But we are going to have all the cap space in the world. It's about 54 million right now. It's Corcoran, Goodrow, Ansons, Langlois, Beliveau, Prokops, Vishkovsky, McCleary, everybody accepting their qualifying offers. And we go to free agency. I'm good with letting those coaches go for the moment. So here we go. Free agency. Can we do any kind of damage here? Interesting. Let's start off in goal. As Ottinger is at the top of the list, Dustin Wolf made it up to an 84. He had a much better year last year in Chicago than he had with us the year before. So I still don't really regret letting him go. He's an RFA, so is Oakley. So UFAs do include Ottinger, who's 27. And for an 89 overall goalie, he is not looking for that much. He's really not. Are there any prospects available? Korhanen's not the worst. Aside from that, then there isn't. No penalty if I fail if I only fail one challenge. Thank God. Thank God. It's only a punishment if we fail all three. We have to make a decision between Scrimes and Ottinger. The problem is, if we go for Ottinger, how long did Ottinger want on a deal? Because I'd love to sign Ottinger, but depending on how many... I think he wanted like 6 or 7 years, didn't he? 6 years. So basically, if we sign Ottinger, we are flat out saying that Scrimes will never be the starter of this team because we'll have to stay loyal to Ottinger. He hasn't been bad in Dallas, but he also hasn't been great. If we really wanted to, we could go for Nedeljkovic. I'm going to come back to the goalie situation because it's a weird one for us. Defensively, top RFA is Henry Through. I do finally get 2 scouts, yes, thank God. So it's a UFA class. There aren't too many phenomenal names out there that I'm overly excited about signing. You could argue that for the price point in the OVR, that Dante Fabro's not that bad. But he's 28, and does he really fit the team? What do we have for prospects? Leopold's not that good. Regula's not that good. That situation's not looking great either. Go figure, we have all the money in the world, but we really don't have anybody that we'd want to sign. That is our plight. I'm not really sold on any defenders or any goalies. What about forwards? RFA-wise, Newhook. Apparently Sam Poulin's looking for $9 million. There's no way anyone... If someone signs Sam Poulin to that much money, I'm fine with that. We could go after Akil Thomas, Marco Rossi. I don't really want to give up too much against Svechkov and Rosen, Yarventi. They are all with us as RFAs. Rossi would be a second rounder. We already have good centers. What about the UFAs? So Cirelli at 28. Man, Cirelli's only 28. You have a veteran in Ryan O'Reilly. Marchand's still out there. Tarasenko, Jenner, John Tavares. Could bring back Tanner Jeannot after all that time. So basically, it's a bunch of people that we could sign, but do we want to sign? Based off of who we already have. Like I said, in goal, if we go after Ottinger, there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee that that Scrimes would be our starter for the future. And I think we might as well just stick with Scrimes. And if Goodrow ends up being the backup next year, then so be it. Like, they were both really good for what you would expect from them. I see no reason to not just stick with that unless we were like, hey, we got to go for it, so we need a better player in goal. Defensively, like, yeah, there's no doubt we need help there. Joseph on the left, Salmonson on the right, Brouwer can be on either side, Rogers on the right, Corcoran's on the right, left, either, left, right. Bixel's getting better, Danner's getting better. Honestly, it might just be the best decision to stick with who we have.
Oh, good
Keep
for
the best of the
you.
bunch. Shout out to Fitty for the follow, by the way. I don't think it's popped up yet. There it is. There it is. Gensel, Kachuk, Lynn Holloway. We have so many young players who are in the mix here. So many young players. There really isn't anybody that I look at to be like, we have to sign them. There really isn't. You could argue that Ottinger would be the shortcut. That Ottinger could be that shortcut to being a more competitive team. I don't even want to talk to Nedeljkovic because you could argue he cost Crosby, Malkin, and company another cup. Right-hand side, I mean, Trouba, Barry, Fabro, Mayfield. I honestly think we're just going to hold out. I'm not overly concerned about anybody. I know Sharon Govich isn't looking for that much money. He's barely been... I mean, I think he might have been in a fourth-line role there, but Jesus. Jesus. I think we just play the long game of wait it out. I think we do. Either that or we say, okay, Anthony Cirelli's going to help us win a cup sooner rather than later, and it's worth getting rid of one of our younger centers to bring him in. Do we go for what is essentially the shortcut? Chanel ended up scoring 40 again. And it was 2 years ago he spurned us in free agency. I'm allowed one big forward, so if I were to be allowed to sign one bigger forward, it'd probably be Cirelli. The trap with Cirelli is that he's just such a defensive-first, gritty style of player. I don't think he's ever going to put up a crap load of points. Because he is just such a defense-first player. O'Reilly is a veteran. I think we hold off. We have so many young players that are going to get better at such a ridiculous rate. Forward-wise, there's a low elite in Landry. Elijah Landry. I'll take a risk on him. He's literally going to be the only player that we target right now until we see what happens with our RFAs. As crazy as that is. Guess we could technically sign Corhinen if we wanted to. Medium fringe. Again, Klang is out there, but I don't want him back. Zubov, 71 in the 22. I think we kind of made that commitment. Oof. Jan Spunar. I think we kind of made that commitment to taking our time and building up. And it's like, do we take that first shortcut of, well, there are players available, let's go for it? Or do we stick with what we got? Patrick Hammerla's already a backup. But honestly, I'm not against giving... I think we're good. We're going to need to sign cap whales. We need to wait to see how the RFAs are going to pan out. I think the big thing here is looking at options. And we'll start off with scouts. Are there any... oh, wow, they generate some really young scouts. I was going to look for for former players to be our scouts. I might have missed a name or two, but I'm not really recognizing any familiar names. Are you Sammy Lapisto? No, you're not. I didn't think it would be this big of a pain in the ass to try to find former players as scouts. Apparently, it's impossible. What, do they all get signed immediately? Well, there goes that idea. Well, we'll just go for the best overall then. And there's some A-minuses in the mix. And we will go for the youngest of the bunch, Dakota Stillman. And Esteban Weiss. Will hopefully be the first 2 scouts in this team's history. And then coaching staff, to be honest, I wouldn't mind, again, looking for real players and seeing if we can develop them up. And here are a bunch of them. I want to keep our highest rateds, but for these guys, I'm going to drop them down. Again, I am allowed to do whatever I want for coaching staff. So honestly, if we can get this guy, we should. Like I said, coaching-wise, it was just one of those things where the game was auto-signing coaches for me, even though I didn't want them to. So it's just like, all right, screw it. We might as well just give ourselves the freedom with the coaches. But let's go after... And poor Claude Giroux, he's the only one that's not that good. Of course, Burnsy would be better with forwards. Of course he would be. Pavelski's better with defensemen. Let's go after Blake Wheeler. Just to piss off all the Leafs fans, but it's because he's a general scout. And we will go after a defensive option. Joe Pavelski really screwed us over once upon a time, so let's go after Tyler Bozak. And we'll see if that works for us, but I'm very surprised at what free agency is looking like for us. So there we go. Stillman, our first ever scout. Beauclair, the A+ said no, would have to offer him more money. Blake Wheeler, apparently double offered. Spawn Weiss also signs. Tyler Bozak signs. Landry, that low elite, did sign, which is good. Let's go back over to the coaching staff. I guess I did end up with it. Maybe I offered him assistant instead of associate like I was supposed to. Well, good for Tyler Bozak to be here. Is that A+ still on the market? He is. Just offer him even more money and see if that's enough. But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about, like I said, what to do necessarily about, oh man, about what this team looks like. We have one more option open again. I'd love to sign Blake Wheeler. Oh, okay, so he went to associate to begin with. That was my mistake. And then, yeah, we'll have to focus on better goalie coaches. Let's see what happens here. Again, in terms of the big names and where they go, I'll probably take a look at the lines at the beginning of the year. So Beauclair ended up signing. Wheeler ended up signing. I'll worry about goalie coaches later. Let's just move towards August 1st. As Robbie Aventi signs his RFA. August 1st will be that big day where I'm allowed to sign whoever I want. I mean, I basically can do it now anyway, but there was nobody that I wanted. I was hoping more of our RFA situations would be cleared up, but a lot of holdouts. A lot of holdouts are still there. At least some for the bigger names, but... So Poulin still wants $7 million. Fuck off. There's no way you're getting $7 million. Well, I mean, he had a 69-point season last year. It's not that bad. How much does Svechkov want? Let's just sign Fedor Svechkov to that. And then Isaac Rosen. We can sign him to that as well. You know what? For Poulin, let's just give him that money. Again, I hate that RFA expiry status thing is still broken. We'll sign Poulin to that. I mean, why not? We have $52 million in cap. And that'll give us a better outlook here. I want to go past the first. Svechkov, Rosen, and Poulin. All sign. So... where are we at here? Unsigned players. I don't think we're going to sign Parks immediately. We'll wait it out like we always do. You could argue he'd be benefiting more from AHL time, but we'll give him time. So in terms of RFAs, Akil Thomas is still out there. So is Dustin Wolf. Again, don't really have interest in Dustin Wolf. Akil Thomas, we could drop down to 5.475. Which would be a first and a third. If Akil Thomas is there, once we get to the preseason, we're definitely going in for him. For now, in terms of goalies, I think we stick with who we got. There are some decent options there. We'll stay with who we have. In terms of prospects, honestly, I don't really think we need a fifth goalie. But Brett Brochu's out there. Hammerla's out there too, but again, I'm scared about Hammerla being a backup. And Spoonar's still out there. I didn't mind what he was looking like, so be an ELC for him. Let's do that. Defensively, no major names still out there. That's not surprising. Evans isn't looking so good. Out of the high sixes, none of them are looking good. What about medium sixes? 73 and a 21. We're actually up there for contracts. I need to be careful. And again, how I wish I could shortlist people, but the game is frustrating and won't let you do that. You can do it during the draft, but you can't do it here. It's so weird. But defensively, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 1, 2. We could probably use one more defenseman, and then the rest should be forwards. So we need one more defender. Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there that's looking half decent? So honestly, the Rock at a 75-22 isn't that bad. And he's a right-handed defender as well, which, let's be honest, we pretty much know that's what we need. So we can sort that out. But 75 and a 22, that's going to be tough to beat. Krutil, Villeneuve, 75 and a 20 for Nick Gibson. Well then, I think we have our guy. 75 overall at 20 years old is pretty damn good. So Nick Gibson, congratulations. We'll definitely sign you. And then forward-wise, Akil Thomas is still there. So we want to make sure we have room for him. But Brandon Hagel is also there and not looking for any money at all. And I think we'd be kind of foolish to not go after him. Tristan Robbins is also out there, but I don't think he's going to get much better. Same for Luke Evangelista. Those guys at best become like 78s if we're lucky. Let's see, 77 to 23. So Bloom is still out there as well. We were looking at him last year. Banquier is also there. 77 and 23. Robertson, there's a bunch of those guys. 78 and a 23. If you want a Dick and Junior, I might sign you, but you can fuck off. 77 and 23 is really tough to compete with. 76 at 22 for Sam Oliver. 78 at 24. Okay, so there are a ton of mid-range forwards that we could sign. But I think we give Brandon Hagel a look for that price. I definitely think we give Brandon Hagel a look for that price. Settings, gameplay sliders. I can. I'm still messing around with the gameplay sliders, though. I haven't completely locked down what I'm looking for. Is Gibson signs, Spoonar signs, Hagel signs for dirt cheap, which is great. BioWave, what's going on? And from there, honestly, let's wait it out to see what happens with Akil Thomas. So we'll sim to the preseason. I am definitely going to need a cap whale or two. But I need to be safe here, and if Akil Thomas is available, we should go for him. Otherwise, we'll go for our cap whales. And Akil Thomas is still there. So I can only drop it down to a 2-year deal. I can't drop it down to a 1. But Akil Thomas at 5,175 would be a 1st and 3rd still. What is the price to get it down to a 2nd? And can we hit that? Wow, yeah, it's just a 2nd at $5 million. So if we offer Akil Thomas just under 5.1, we might be able to get him for a 2nd. And that is a steal. And yes, it would change things up, especially when Stenberg's an 86. But I think we have to go for that just because the trade value itself would be amazing, and we don't have to worry about like no trade clause or anything like that because he's an RFA. So 2 years at 5.0. Actually, it would have to be 5.1 because 5.085 I can't do. So 5.1 was it? No, it's just under 5.1. 5.75. There we go. So if Akil Thomas accepts that, we have to do it. We have to do it. That makes way too much sense. It's a 2nd rounder. It's worth it. So let's see what happens first and foremost with Akil Thomas and whether or not he'll be joining us here. I don't think the Kings will be able to match that. He accepts the deal. And there we go. So we acquire Akil Thomas, 2-year deal, just over $5 million, in exchange for a 2nd-round pick. That is gigantic. And we still have all the players in the world, or all the cap in the world, that we need to sign up. So as much as I'd love to bring in some of those younger dudes that were available, let's be honest, we have to look at like a James Van Riemsdyk here. And we have to sign JVR to all of the money to make sure that we are cap compliant. So that is our first deal that we must do. Seem even easier to get RFAs from the other teams. I'd say it's about the same in my experiences. I wouldn't say it's any easier. So JVR signs. And we are just below. Okay, so let's take a look then. In terms of dudes that we haven't signed, like I said, the only guy really would be Parks, who we just drafted 3rd overall, but I don't think that's a necessity. Love me some menu lag. So in terms of our roster, Scrimes is still a backup, but by next year he'll be a starter, so I think we made the right choice. We're going to go with Goodrow and Scrimes to start off. Spooner and Shattenger, Kadri can be there. Honestly, Spooner really didn't need to be signed. Kadri's only a medium fringe, though, so it's not a big deal. Defensively. So left-hand side is Joseph, Brower, Pope. Unless we get Swart or Bixel in there. Honestly, Pope is 22. Still has some room to grow. Brower's definitely there. Swart is 23. Bixel's 22. Vero's 24. Again, it was last year was kind of the last chance for Emil Vero to show that he could be the guy, you know. So he might be on the outs. I think we're gonna have Swart and Vero on the roster. I want to send down Pope. Let me just send down a random forward for the moment. So I don't want Vero taking up any space in the bottom 6. So Bixel, Pope, and Danner on that left-hand side. Right side's Gibson, Prokop, probably Langlois. That's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. And again, we see out of these young guys who can get the job done. And then forward-wise, Gensel, Kachuk, Poulin, Stenberg, Drury, Holloway. Hagel's here now again on that dirt cheap deal. And needless to say, Akil Thomas is getting called up. So let's see. In terms of the guys that we have, it's 10, 11, 12, and 13. So someone needs to be dropped. You have a bunch of depth guys. I feel like we might have, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 3. We have one third line guy too many. So honestly, that might be where Brandon Hagel gets dropped or somebody else. I wasn't all that convinced by Matthew Tkachuk. Here's the problem. Center-wise, it's going to have to be Thomas, Drury, Stenberg, that Akil Thomas signing complicates things a little bit. It was a no-brainer, but it definitely complicates things a little bit with our team. So again, for the moment, let's just say we leave out Sam Aremba because he played in the AHL all of last year. If we look at this forward core, Gensel has to be on the top line. Tkachuk has to be on the top line. Yes, I know they're a +5 with Akil Thomas. Drury can only play center. Holloway, Stenberg can only play center. Dvorsky can only play center. But Dvorsky can't be on the fourth line, nor can Stenberg. One of our centers has to go. And with Dvorsky and Stenberg both being medium elites, I think the signing of Akil Thomas means Jack Drury is going to go, despite the fact that Jack Drury, you did it with Malkin. Malkin was the one exception because he was a club legend. We're not doing it again. Honestly, I think that means Jack Drury is probably on the outs, which sucks, but also you think about the return on investment when we bought super, super low for Drury, and now we flip him. It's not a bad way to go. And that way the forward lines, or center lines, can be Thomas, Stenberg, Dvorsky. Not that I want to get rid of Jack. You could also just argue immediately flip Akil Thomas. But, I mean, that top 5 on that top line looks pretty damn good. And Rosen Kamel can only play the right side. Hagel can only play the left. Which means Poulin would have to be on the right. Second line, third line, depth forward. Third line for Hagel, second line for Holloway. Svechkov can be a depth forward. So Hagel, in a way, complicates where Fedor Svechkov plays, but Svechkov hasn't really gotten any better, is the problem. So I'm not against the fact that we're looking at giving Brandon Hagel this opportunity. Because he could even be a deadline flip, because we bought him for dirt cheap. So again, unfortunately, I think that Jack Drury is just on the outs. It's either Drury or Thomas. But then also for the forwards, do we have anybody that has to play? No. But we do have a bunch of depth forwards that are kind of waiting for the chance. Which would probably be Svechkovsky that gets the chance. So we still have a couple decisions to make here, quickly, hopefully. Out of the centers, I mean, Drury's value is much, much higher than it was when we signed him. Thomas had 2 points in 5 games for the Kings last year. Yeah, Thomas or Drury has to go. Who's out there right now? You still have the Ducks looking to move on from Lalime. There's also this defender in Joaquin Wang, who unfortunately is a left side defender, but could still be picked up. Chychrun's available, as is Jared McCann. Chychrun is a left side defender, but it's Jake Chychrun. Interesting. And would you rather go for Wang? I know the answer. Or Chychrun? Jared McCann's also out there. You got Goss to spare. Chychrun has 4 years left on that deal as well. Damn. Soups, hello. Alright. Who else is out there? Right now, I really like the idea of picking up Chychrun. We have to make a trade involving either Jack Drury or Akil Thomas. Lindholm's out there, but he's 31. Still got D'Angelo and Marino. Again, I'm not totally against the idea of bringing back Marino. Oh, he did sign. Wow. So Marino's that much more valuable because he did just sign an extension, and it's not really for all that much. Landeskog's out there, but he's 33. Colborne's out there. Colborne's not that bad of a prospect. Like, we've been flirting with the idea of bringing back John Marino for a few years now. LA has Ernie, Sotheby, Gallagher, Kane, Kulikov. Like, with the forwards that we have, man, Ryan Pulock's out there too. But see, here's the thing. I like Chychrun, and I like Marino a lot. You're talking about, though, the possibility of taking an entire line away, a pairing from the Islanders and Pelech and Pulock at the same time. And that could immediately be our second pair. Honestly, with our forward core, playoffs aren't out of the question. You get to the playoffs, anything can happen. Brock Besser's out there, Garland, Horvat, but again, we're good when it comes to forwards. At least we should be. Marianov, Sprong, Kuznetsov, McCabe, Alex Ovechkin's on the block, though. It'd be nice, but... I do like the idea of Chychrun. I do like the idea of Marino. Or we go for that Islanders option and pick up 2 players for the price of 1, which would give us Joseph Salmonson, Pelech and Pulock, Brouwer on the third pair with either Sword, Ben Roger, Corcoran. I think we have to go for that Islanders deal. I think we have to. So again, we'd have Joseph and Salmonson, Pulock on the right, who could play with Joseph if need be, and then Pelech's on the left. I think we have to go for that. I think we have to. As much as I'd love to get Chychrun, if we can do 1 deal instead of 2 to improve our defense, our trades are super valuable since we're only allowed to make 3 a year. So it would make quite a bit of sense to flip Akil Thomas, but man, that +5 with Gensel and Kachuk. Drury's got an 84 in faceoffs. Thomas has an 83. Man, Drury's such a good skater. Obviously, the value is with Akil Thomas. Now is the right time to try to pull off a blockbuster like this. I think we have to go with Thomas over Drury. Again, I hate that we got Jack Drury. He won Rookie of the Year last year, and then we're flipping him, but we got him for so cheap. It's an incredible return on investment if we move him. Goalie-wise, we just picked up another medium elite goalie in Heatley, and we don't need him. And we can use that trade value alongside Drury to pull this off. Honestly, I'm not against adding Emil Viro to this deal either because he's not getting any better. I know he's got X factors, but he hasn't been very good. You got McRourty there. You got a lot of forward depth, but I think if we can use a setup of primarily these 3 of Drury, Viro, Heatley, we're looking good. This won't go through on its own, but that is the foundation. Makes a lot of sense. And in draft pick-wise, we do have our first. Parks we're obviously not getting rid of. McGroarty would make a lot of sense. Honestly, Svechkov would make a lot of sense because we're looking at playing him on the 3rd line or the 4th line this year, and kind of cashing out now on Svechkov makes a lot of sense. He's definitely more of a defensive first kind of forward anyway. I don't think he's going to be a major difference maker for us. He's behind Holloway, Kachuk, Poulan. I mean, Gensel can all play the left-hand side. I think now might be the time to flip Svechkov. So this is turning into a massive, massive deal. But I think it might be the right choice for us. Now, again, you could argue, like, oh, why not sign certain free agents that were out there? But they're not Pelican Pullock on those contracts. How are we looking here? Third rounder won't go. If we take out the third rounder, how are we looking? It's expensive, but I think it's going to be worth it. What if I also add Semyonov as another medium fringe? Still not there. Damn. It's getting pricey. This is getting pricey. Throw in future considerations, right? But again, we have the forward depth to pull this off. This is why we acquired all these prospects, to be able to make moves like this if we have to. There's Hobby Bullen, there's Christensen, there's a Bluan who's not that bad. Darsh that we just signed as a free agent, or not, we drafted, I should say. Landry was the free agent signing. Can I also use Vidasek since they want him? Now they'd have too many players. Shit, so we gotta look at unsigned players. Darsh would make a lot of sense. He's 19, he's only a 58. I know he's a low elite. But it's either him, Christensen, or Hobby Bullen, and I'd rather go Hobby Bullen because Christensen could play both sides. So is Darsh enough? No. Damn, this is an expensive deal. Take Darsh out, let's go for Hobby Bullen. I think we can afford to move on from him. We are giving up a lot of futures for this. But I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Yeah, Timo, maybe you should. Is a third rounder enough to offset it? Not quite. What about just straight up? Wow, it's still not there, huh? Damn. What if I retain on Jack Drury's deal for the hell of it? Still not there. What if I retain on Svechkov? Still not there. I feel like Emil Viro is the one kind of holding this up because he doesn't have a ton of value. I'm not really willing to give up Danner, but Danner is behind Brouwer and Pope, so maybe we do give up Danner. Man, that's a lot to give up, but I feel like it's worth it. Especially because Pellick and Pullock are both signed for a decent amount of time. Will this go through? A blockbuster of a deal. Not quite. What about now? Still no. Man, we might have to back out of this. Oh, we might have to back out of this. They are turning down an insane amount of value. They really are turning down an insane amount of value. Thomas does have that little bit of extra value over Drury. We could give up McGroarty. I still would rather give up Svechkov. Looking at Rosen, you're looking at Pope. Maybe McGroarty and Svechkov. We have the forwards anyway. So Drury, two of our best forward prospects, a great goalie prospect. Is that... How close is that? How close is that? I again want a safety net with a third next year. Still not there, straight up. Still not there. This value is crazy. God, this value on this deal is crazy, but I'm committed to the idea of it. So I can't add anybody who's under contract. I don't think I have any good defenders who aren't under contract. Yeah, I don't. So forward-wise is where it would be. I will again throw out the idea of using Darsh. So 3 good forward prospects, a goalie prospect, and Drury, who's NHL ready now. We might have to back out of this. At this point, it's getting close to using 2 trades to get Chikrin and Marino back. If Hobby Bullen's not enough, we might have to back out of this. I don't know how McGroarty. Well, I don't see how they're viewed the same way. What if we take out Svechkov? Take out Drury. Use Akil Thomas. Bad contracts to take on. I don't think so. Fowler has too much value as it is. And there is Spezza, not Jason. Not that I want to use Akil Thomas after acquiring him. I'd prefer to use him. But I need to get rid of somebody. Again, what if we use Darsh? Even Akil Thomas is enough. Alright, so we'll think about it. We'll think about it. There's Marino in Carolina. There is Chikrin in Arizona. And then there's that Islanders deal. Where again, we could pick up 2, not necessarily for the price of 1, but certainly for the price of 2. And it would set us up to where our defense would be really, really solid. But forward-wise, we have to clear out some of the logjam here. So we'll think about it. We'll stop for now instead of banging our heads against the wall, and we'll think about what makes the most sense for next time.